Right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm reading for today, I'm seeing that you're moving on from something or moving forward. And as you're moving forward, there may be feelings from the past that come up. There may be nostalgia. For some reason, I wanted to say missed opportunities. That's not to say that you have missed opportunities, just that feelings of did I miss an opportunity in the past, or maybe something that didn't work out is coming up for you. There could just be a lot of processing of the past that you could be trying to move on from, could be trying to move forward from where you're currently at. But as you do that, these thoughts come in, and I do see it causing some anxiety. It's a sort of fast moving energy. You could feel a little bit chaotic in your head or a little bit fragmented, I'm hearing. Your oracle cards for today are the outsider, playfulness, and friendliness. So I'm seeing that it may be hard for you to ground and just have fun and even just to connect with other people because you're going through these hard things in your head. I'm seeing you really thinking about how whatever endings you've been through have put you through quite a bit. You could have been feeling really tired in the recent past, or feeling like you just went through a lot, maybe a lot of different endings, a lot of different conflicts, and it's been kind of exhausting for you. And so in the current energy, I do see you taking the time to heal, maybe going within. As you do that, I see you having realizations, learning more about yourself, definitely growing, but it does seem to be a bit of a solitary process, and you could be feeling somewhat lonely and kind of wanting to lighten up and go play and have fun and be silly and connect and all of those things, but it could feel kind of hard for you to do that because you're moving through a sort of level of self-care that is sort of solitary, which has been a theme in the readings lately for Sagittarius, is doing things kind of alone. And it could be kind of getting to the point where you're like, why can't I have fun and have friends? Maybe why do I have conflict with other people, or why have I gone through all of these endings? And so that's what this reading's going to be about, and I'm going to dive into these energies more. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like to lend your energy to the channel in such a way that allows me to manifest messages that resonate more deeply for you, you can like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, I do offer personal readings. You can email me down below in the description box if you'd like one. And thank you to everyone who's already requested one. I am working through them this week, so I'll be getting those to you right away. But let's take a look at your energy in the recent past, Sagittarius. We have the Death card here, and the World card just came out as I said that. So there's some ending that you moved through that kind of marked a spiritual transformation in your life. Let's take a look at that. Something ended for you in who you are and how you see things, and a lot of confusion and overwhelm kind of came to a pause, and it's like you were finally able to rest. So this could have been something that had a lot of moving pieces to it. It was very confusing. It maybe have gotten out of control or felt like it was controlling you at some point. And I'm seeing that at some point that came to a close with the World card, and then you were able to kind of finally have some peace and quiet is what you're showing me. But you're also showing me in retrospect that when you look at it, you're like, damn, that was hard. That was very hard. A lot happened there. I see you almost like needing to like process, and as you process, you're like, that really took a lot out of me. I'm really drained. Yeah. This could have to do with love. It could have felt like someone was keeping secrets from you, someone that you loved, or maybe you just couldn't trust them. Maybe there was always sort of this fear that things were going to end with this person. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, water energy could be significant for you. If it's not, don't take it. But that is coming out here. And there's this feeling of maybe like I should have ended that before I did, or if I'd just known what I know now, I would have not put myself through that. There's definitely an energy of like secrecy, deceit there, from someone who you thought you could trust. And I'm seeing that as a result, you became really, really guarded. Possibly you started guarding your heart or just your energy in general. And that could be why you feel like you're standing on the outside of connections. It could be like connecting to people is really hard for you after this, or it's hard for you to trust people or to just let your hair down, to let loose. Yeah, it's like when it comes to really communicating with other people, making those connections, um, really following through on connecting with other people and also opening your heart to them. I see you being very guarded, very blocked off after this experience you had. And you're showing me not only did this experience drain you, but you're very afraid that people are going to deceive you or that they're not fully trustworthy. And this could be something that isn't even fully conscious for you. It could just be kind of how you relate to other people. And so then when people approach you, there could be almost like this inability for you to truly reciprocate or for you to truly show up in those relationships with those people. And so I do see you kind of going within and trying to heal and trying to learn from this experience so that when you want to and when people come towards you, you're not blocked off to them. Because I do see there being quite a blockage in your energy because of what happened in the past, and it comes from sort of this lack of ability to trust. But then what ends up happening is you feel lonely because you want to connect with people and you want to feel known and loved, but it can be really hard to do that. So in the current energy, I see you really focused on your healing, taking some time to yourself. You may feel like you're kind of in this in-between period in your life. Interesting. I see you trying not to focus too much on like fears, lack mindset, scarcity. Like you're trying to hold back from having a sort of negative perspective, and you're trying really hard to ground in what you know is real. But I do see you kind of going back and forth in those energies, and some days you feel more stable, you feel more confident. Other days you kind of slip back into that energy of everything's really hard and this isn't easy and why does everything have to be so hard. And I see you working on healing that, but it's not a linear process necessarily. And I see you really wanting to open your heart and kind of saying, I know I need to open my heart. And there could almost be like a feeling of like rushing into opening your heart because you're like, I know what I need to do, so why can't I just do it? But the message here is that there's a deeper healing process that you have to go through, right? Like I can know, okay, I really need to be more trusting of other people, but that doesn't mean I can just magically be more trusting. Or like I can know, okay, my life would be a lot better if I would just be done grieving this person that I lost, but I can't just force that to happen. And I think you know that, but there's something here about slowing down and kind of understanding that you can't rush the process of your heart either, that it's going to take however much time it takes. And as in this phase of your healing journey, I see that as you're trying to open up your heart again, some of that pain comes up and you start to kind of have to look at, okay, like, why do I have these limiting beliefs? Like, why is it hard for me to trust people? Why can't I engage so easily with people? And there's something about stepping into your inner child here, but not stepping into your inner child in the typical sense that we think about, but needing to return to the part of yourself who would play with kids you didn't even know on the playground, because you weren't thinking all these things of, oh, what if they hurt me and what if I can't trust them and I had this bad experience at this other playground. No, you just went on the playground and you played. And that's what I kind of see you healing here, is kind of dropping your guard. And that's kind of the path that you're on. And you could be feeling a little bit impatient and being like, when do I get to connect? When do I get to have good connections? For some of you, this could have to do with like romance. And if you were hurt in love or you had like a soul connection and you became guarded because of that, you could have been single for a while and kind of wondering, okay, like when am I going to not have to be single anymore? And especially for those of you who have been alone for maybe like several years, there could be this feeling of really wanting to like bust out of that cage and just jump into something with someone. And there's a message here about slowing down and making sure that you have done the healing that you need to do before you get into something that might be overwhelming, or maybe you'll repeat a cycle or something like that. It's important that you take the time to nurture yourself. And right now I see you being a little rickety, going back and forth, confident, not confident, happy, unhappy. Today I'm really excited, the next day I'm kind of depressed. And so that's a hard energy to be in, and Spirit's kind of asking you to allow yourself to find your center again. You're showing me I don't want to heal. I want it to be done. Like, I want to be done healing. Or also just that it's really hard, that the actual process of healing is difficult. It brings things up. It's not easy. It's not pretty. It can't get tied up with a nice bow. Maybe the more you heal, the more you unpack. And the more you unpack, the more triggered you get. And the more triggered you get, the more depressed you get, And it's sort of like, as you move through that healing process, it's not easy. It is kind of difficult. But if you reject the things that are coming up for you, it's almost like there's something here that you need to look at. And you're kind of showing me a little bit of not really wanting to spend that time by yourself, not wanting to be alone, and if anything being like, what's wrong with me, why am I alone? And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just being asked to do some healing work that you need to do by yourself. And so if you're feeling like, I'm just not meeting the people that I want to meet, or I'm not connecting with people in the way that I want to connect with them, it could be because you have more work that you need to do within yourself before you're able to connect with people the way that you're looking for. That's not to say you're not going to connect with people, just that, yeah, you're showing me I'm tired of being alone. It's hard. I want someone to share my heart with. And that's fair. And I don't think that anyone should be completely alone just because they're healing. But if you're kind of wondering why am I this alone, or why haven't I met people who can see my heart, it may be because there's a part of you that struggles to really show your full heart to people. Yeah, it takes a certain level of vulnerability. It takes a certain level of you actually opening up and showing people also the parts of you that aren't pretty, and trusting that they're going to be able to hold those parts of you, and knowing that you're not a burden. And I think that there's a part of you that when you approach other people, or other people approach you, because there's that lack of trust there, you may think, yes, I'm showing people all of myself, or I am being vulnerable. But actually what it is, I think, is that there's a flow to energy, right? It's not like we're completely vulnerable, or we're never vulnerable. It's like, we open up to people as we feel comfortable, and as it flows, and as it feels good, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. And that's the way that a relationship kind of moves. And in order to be tapped into that flow, and to be tapped intuitively into connection, we have to be aligned with ourselves to a certain extent, so that we can move in and out of that flow state, if that makes sense. And I think that's something that you're still working on, is like actually really opening up. And there's that quote, I'm going to butcher it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the one where it's like, in order to be loved, we have to accept the mortifying ordeal of being known. And it's like, are you willing to be known? Because until you're willing to be known, you are going to feel like you're standing on the outside, because you're actually just not accepting the love that is trying to reach you. I see this blockage for you coming down. Any walls that you have, they're going to come down. The gentler that you are on yourself, and the gentler that you are on other people as well, that's when this wall is going to come down, and you're like, the love is just going to come pouring in. I'm getting the image of like a dam being broken down in a river, and the water just pouring through this space that it didn't get to pour through before. That's what's going to happen for you, is slowly you are going to open up. And you may not even realize it, but there's been love that's been trying to reach you this whole time. And that love is going to come right through. But it's going to require you to release some of your limiting beliefs. It's going to require you to step outside your comfort zone emotionally. And it's going to require yourself to take your time with your healing journey and to not rush it. And I see you kind of realizing that. And it's almost like as soon as you just relax your energy, all the love comes pouring through. Let's see. Let's get 3 cards of advice from the universe. Just knocked a whole bunch of cards off the table there. I think I'm going to need a bigger desk soon. I know you guys can't see the cards, but I'm someone who pulls like 8 million cards. Just because I like to really get in touch with spirit, and I like to, get as many messages as want to come out, and it can look pretty chaotic on my desk. All right, 3 cards of advice from spirit. Alright, it's kind of an intense message, so I hope you're ready to hear it, but I'm just going to deliver what the cards are telling me. There's love that's trying to reach you, but you have to respond to it. You have to open up to it, and you may have a narrative that you're not on the right path or that everything is going to go wrong, and that's a deceptive narrative. Spirit wants you to be honest about the fact that there is love that's trying to reach you, and it's really about how open you are willing to be to that love. And so if you're someone sitting there saying, love is impossible for me and no one loves me and no one likes me and all of this stuff, that right there is part of your problem. And so Spirit wants you to really take an honest look at how you approach the love that tries to reach you. Or for others of you, maybe someone tries to come in and love you and you're like, oh, but they don't have the same interests as me, or they're not really my age, or they live really far away. It's like, that's still love. That's still love that's coming to you. So where are you refusing the love that's trying to come to you? And then, of course, the flip side of that is, where are you refusing the love for yourself? Because that's where your love is really going to start and end, is, are you able to love yourself? Are you giving yourself love? And when you do give yourself love, are you able to accept it? So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.